Hi everyone, it's nice to see you. So I gather kind of a week and a half in. Oh, say hello to my co-star, Luna, my cat. She'll be joining us today. I assume at this point of time, right, of our self-quarantine, our social distancing, right, that we're all beginning to feel this, right, this burden, this weight kind of coming down on us. And that maybe it's from, right, being in these closed and maybe even close quarters with our loved ones and trying to navigate that relationship, how you're managing your day to day, right, but all in kind of the same space. Or maybe if you're alone, right, and you're by yourself, which can be freeing, but it can also be burdensome. Kind of being by yourself and not having kind of an immediate connection to, or physical connection to another human. So as the saying goes, right, the weight of the world, right, is beginning to come down on our shoulders. But for today's practice, I wanted to actually use weights to help strengthen, right, our shoulders. So our arms, shoulders, upper chest, and upper back. And the idea being, right, as we create strength in these areas, as we're feeling this burden come down on us, we have the strength, right, to carry it, or maybe even pop it off, right? See you later, burden and worry. Because I can kick your ass now because I'm using weights in my yoga practice. So props you will need either a kettlebell. I'm going to be using a kettlebell through this. I think all of you probably know what a kettlebell is. If you don't have a kettlebell, you can use kind of regular weights. You can use two together, right? Or if you just have one, you can use one. Right? If you don't have those, go down to your pandemic cupboard. Grab your non-perishable can of, mine is Goya chickpeas, but get whatever you want. The smaller cans are about 1 pound. The bigger cans are about 1.5 pounds, so you can use that. If you want some more, if you don't have weights but you want more than 1 pound or 1.5 pounds, maybe you can grab a small tote and stuff it with shit. I shortened the handle a little bit so it's almost like a makeshift kettlebell, right? Final option, if you have a complacent pet, such as Luna, you can use her or it or him as your weight. Luna is probably not going to be too complacent, so I'm just going to let her chill there on her blanket. Oh, no, final option. You can use a block in between your hands. Okay. So before we get started, I do want to mention that loading our bodies in this way. So we're adding load to our bodies. You may fatigue quicker than usual. You may begin to build heat or sweat quicker than usual. You may find shortness of breath quicker than usual. So all of these things are kind of indications to check in with yourself as you're moving, to notice if you need to down level the amount of weight you're using, get rid of the weights, or maybe just, again, grabbing your block, or maybe just taking a break and petting your cat or dog. Okay. All right, so weight of the world, we're going to do this in basic sun salutations, pretty straightforward, with just a little bit of weights thrown in, just a little bit, but mostly weights. Okay. All right, so we're going to stop at the top of the mat. I'm actually going to take my hoodie off because I start sweating very easily and very quickly. Okay. So starting at the top of your mat, grab whatever weight you're going to use, and you're going to place it in between your hands. So kettlebell, like so. If you have a weight, you're just holding out on either side, or your can, whatever you have. So using both hands. So feet are hip width distance apart, and toes are pointing forward. And you can go ahead and just actually put your weight to the side. Sorry, just put your weight to the side. I'm gonna have us do a couple movements without the weights. I don't know if you can see me. So I've done many without the weights, so we can just check in with our body. Okay, I'm sorry that my head's cut off, but this is the best view for this practice. All right, so feet are hip width distance, toes pointing straight ahead. Close your eyes or take a soft gaze. And just notice how, right, the gravity, the weight of your body, right, is transferring down into your feet. You can even gently shift, maybe ever so slightly from side to side or front and back, just to kind of play around how you feel the weight with gravity coming down into your feet. And see if you can find this even connection down through both feet. And on your inhale, go ahead and sweep your arms high overhead for Urdhva Hastasana. And then as you exhale, you want to hinge at the hips. Keep your back long and straight, right? So your spine just straight as long as you can. And then as you release fingertips down, then you can begin to round. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Head heavy. Inhale, come up halfway. Maybe your hands slide up to your shins. Again, spine is long, tailbone back, crown of the head forward. Exhale and fold. Inhale, let's come all the way back up. Again, thinking, hinging at the hips, spine long. Nice. Fingertips reach up, and then exhale, hands through heart center, Anjali Mudra. Inhale, press your palms. Reach your hands overhead. Palms can be together or wide. Exhale, you're hinging at the hips, right? So spine is long, ribs in and reach down towards your pelvis. So you get that core engagement. As you release, you can bend your knees as much as you need to. Inhale, come up halfway. And then exhale, go ahead and fold. Inhale, let's come all the way up. Again, think about hinging at the hips. Spine is long, hinge all the way up, ribs in. Maybe you press your palms, exhale, hands through heart center. So I'm going to do that one more time, and I'm emphasizing the cues of hinging at the hips, right? Spine long, and then ribs in and down. So we get this real nice integration around our hips and low back to help protect our body and stabilize our body when we do add the weight. Okay, last time, inhale, arms high. And then exhale, go ahead and hinge forward. All the way down to Uttanasana, bending knees if needed. Head heavy. Inhale, come up halfway. Spine is long, tailbone back, crown of the head forward, ribs in and down. Exhale, go ahead and fold. This time you're going to step back to downward facing dog, 1 foot at a time. On your inhale, go ahead and just come forward slowly into plank phalakasana. Please feel free to release down to your knees if you need to. Take one more inhale here. On your exhale, go ahead and lower all the way down to the earth. Nice, tops of the feet press. On your inhale, let's come up into baby cobra or maybe full cobra. And on your exhale, begin to turn your toes under. You can press up through all fours, downward facing dog. On your next exhale, you can begin to bend your knees and take a gaze forward. And just a step, or if you want to already hop forward, you can. Uttanasana, forward fold. On your inhale, come up halfway. And then as you exhale, refold. Okay, on your inhale, hinging at the hip, spine is long. Arms up. And then exhale, hands through heart center. Long by your side. All right, now grab your weight, whatever weight you're using. Okay. Right. So let's bring the weights to our heart center. Okay. So like Anjali Mudra, but now you have a weight in between your hands. Okay. So just take a moment here, come back to your breath, and notice maybe how you feel a little bit more connected down through the soles of your feet now that you've added this load, this weight. Maybe you're able to access that deeper connection into the earth. On your next inhale, you're going to press the weight overhead. Then as you exhale, hinge at the hips as you lower the weight all the way down to the earth, spine long. You can even tap the weight on the earth, right? On your inhale, we're going to come all the way back up. Let your arms kind of hang long for as long as you can. And then the weight comes back to your heart. Nice. And then exhale, just settle. All right, so inhale, press the weight overhead. So half sun salutations. Exhale, we're going to hinge forward, ribs in and down, dropping the weight down, down, down till it taps the earth. Yep. And then inhale, we're going to come all the way back up. Right, spine, long ribs in, bring the weight back to heart center. And then exhale, just settle and reground. One more time. Inhale, press the weight overhead. Right, and then as you exhale and hinge at the hips, spine long, go ahead and drop the weights. Right, so arms straight. Nice. And then inhale, hinge, come all the way back up. So it's kind of like deadlifts. And as you come back up, you can go ahead and bring the kettlebell to heart center. All right, let's do it one more time since we're here. Inhale, arm overhead. Right, and then exhale, go ahead and fold all the way down. This time we're going to stay down though. You're going to begin to bend both of your knees. Right, and then we're going to come into chair pose, so bringing the weight to our heart center. So bend as deep as feels good. Again, let your spine be long here. Okay, so you're not rounding or overarching. And then on your inhale, press the weight overhead. Keep the pelvis low. And then exhale, bring the weight back to center. Let's do that 4 more times with your breath. So again, as you're doing this, right, really reach your ribs in and down, right? So you're getting this really stable core action, right? So your low back's not taking all this added load. I don't know how many that was. I think that was 4. So 1 more. And then weight at center. And then fold forward, release the weight down. And so on your inhale, go ahead and step back to downward facing dog. Leave the weight at the top of the mat. Right, so weight free right now. No burden at this moment. Inhale, come forward into plank. And then as you exhale, you can release all the way down, or I like to use this as a reference point right for our chaturanga. Then you come up either into cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale, come back to downward facing dog. All right, so let's inhale the right leg high, so 3-legged dog. On your exhale, go ahead and bring that right foot forward to a lunge, right? So if you need to adjust your feet to your stance in any way, we're gonna grab the weight, right? And come up into high crescent with the weight at our heart again. Okay, so back leg is strong and really stand down through that front foot. Okay, just see if you can perceive how this added load really is able to ground you here. All right, so on your inhale, overhead again, press the weight up. And then exhale, bring the weight back down to heart center. So 5 times. Again, ribs in and down. And if you begin to feel like your tops of your shoulders are already becoming fatigued, or maybe they're getting sore, then don't go as high. Or you can just hold it at your heart, right? That's just loading this pose even more without the arm movement. I think this is 5. So we're gonna end with the weight at heart center, right? Think spine long, ribs in and down. You're gonna hinge forward at the hips. So you come right above that front thigh. Whew. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, go ahead and place the weight down. So in front of you or to the side, step back to downward facing dog. All right, let's go right to the left side. So you can go ahead and lift the left leg high. And then on your exhale, go ahead and sweep it forward. Setting up for lunge. Grab your weight. Bring your weight to heart center. All right, on your count, your breath, 5 times. On your inhale, press the weight overhead. Exhale, bring it back to center. And notice how just this load, right, it challenges your balance here in this shape, right? So again, having your ribs in and down to help stabilize the core, right, is going to help stabilize your whole body in space, right? So you're less wobbly. I think this is going to be 5. All right, weight stays at heart. Notice if your tops of your shoulders are beginning to hunch up towards your ears. See if you can relax them even though you're holding this weight, this extra load. Ribs in and down. Think hinging at the hips, spine is long. All right, you're slowly hinging until you're hovering above that front thigh. We're going to stay here for one more inhale. And then as you exhale, go ahead and release the weight down. Fingers come down. Step forward into forward fold. Grab your weights. Inhale, come all the way up, hinging at the hips. Weight comes to heart center. Exhale and settle. Inhale, press the weight overhead. Urdhva Hastasana with weights. Exhale, folding forward, hinging at the hips, arms long. Let the weight help drag you down, but don't round the spine. Yep. Then we're going to stay here. Go ahead and bend the knees. You're going to come back to chair pose with the weight at your heart center. And widening your stance here can kind of help you stabilize, so you can play with that if you're feeling unstable in chair pose. Okay, so ribs in and down, right? So if you're feeling any soreness kind of in your low back here, most likely is because those your back muscles are kind of taking on this load more than your core muscles, right? So again, ribs in and down. Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of dynamic movement with the weight here. So inhale, overhead. And then exhale, weight to heart center. Inhale, hinge, keep your pelvis low. Weight stays at heart center. And then exhale, come back up, spine long, chair pose. 2 more times, inhale. Whew, my thighs are burning. And then exhale, weight at heart center. And then inhale, hinge. So you can keep your pelvis low. And then exhale, come back up, chair pose. 1 more time. Oh my goodness. Inhale, arms overhead, ribs in and down. Exhale, weight to heart center. Inhale, hinge, spine long, pelvis low, ribs in and down. Yep. Exhale, come back up. Stay here for an inhale. Exhale, go ahead and straighten your legs, fold forward. Oh lordy. Uttanasana. On your inhale, come up halfway. Weight free, enjoy. Exhale, go ahead and step back to downward facing dog. Whew. So come back to your breath if you lost it here. Now you may notice, and you probably hear me, you may notice you're out of breath. I am definitely. I'm beginning to sweat as well. So take 1 more round of inhale and exhale in downward facing dog. On your next inhale, go ahead and come forward into plank phalakasana. Knees down if you would like. On your exhale, you can come all the way down. right? Or holding in chaturanga, right? Hovering. And then you're coming up into cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale, go ahead, come back to downward facing dog. On your inhale, lift your right leg high. Okay, let's stay with the same side. And then exhale, bring that foot forward to a lunge. Okay, you're gonna grab your weight, come up to high crescent again. Okay, so weight is at the heart center. Back leg strong, ground down through the front foot evenly. Ribs in and down. Feel your shoulders over your hips, ears over your shoulders. On your inhale, press the weight overhead. You're gonna hold here as you bend elbows, right? Bring the weight behind you, right? So for those of you who are quite mobile, notice as you bring the weight behind you, if your ribs kind of popped out, which I felt mine doing, right? So ribs need to come in and down. All right, so all you're gonna do is straighten and bend at the elbows. So inhale, go ahead and straighten. And then exhale, rebend. Right, 4 more times. And also, you can play with how you use your breath, right? So exhaling, lifting the weight might work better for you, right? And if you're feeling, again, tight in the top of your shoulders, see if you can soften them, and if you need to, bring your elbows a little bit wider. That might help. And I think I have one more. We have one more. So 5, hold the weight overhead. Take an inhale here. Exhale, bring the weight to heart center. All right, we're gonna hinge forward again, right? So on the exhale, go ahead and hinge, hinge, hinge. Weight stays at your heart spine, long ribs in and down. And then you can release the weight down. Fingertips down, step back to downward facing dog. Okay. Go ahead and lift the left leg high. Right, and then as you exhale, you can bring it forward to a lunge. Go ahead and grab your weight. Come up into high crescent, weight at your heart. Inhale, press the weight overhead. Exhale, go ahead and bend your elbows, weight comes behind you. Okay, make sure your ribs are in and down. Right, so when you're ready with your breath, you're gonna lift the weight. So just bending and straightening at your elbows. Okay, so this is working on your triceps. Those are the muscles at the back of your upper arm. Okay, so this one is really challenging for me. As I do this, to not let it kind of collapse in my low back and really keeping the ribs in and down. I think we have one more for 5. Then hold overhead. Exhale, bring the weight back to heart center. You're gonna hold the weight at heart center. So on your next exhale, you're gonna hinge forward till that torso, right, your long spine's hovering right above your thighs. And then release your weight down. Release your hands down, step forward, Uttanasana. Okay, grab your weight. Inhale, we're gonna come all the way up. So hinging at the hips. Weight comes to heart center. Exhale. Go ahead and settle. All right, so I'm just gonna move back a little bit, so I think you'll be able to see this better with the neutral wall behind me instead of all this colorful stuff. All right, so you're gonna bring your feet wider than hip width with your toes out and heels in. You ready, Luna? Nothing to say? Okay. All right, so you're gonna grab your kettlebell or your weight and just let your arms hang, right? Let the weight kind of help your arms hang without rounding forward, right? So finding your shoulders still over your hips, right? So on your exhale, go ahead and begin to come into a squat, letting that weight kind of help you, right, to come all the way down into a squat. It's going to be your deepest squat. Again, but let your spine be long. You're not rounding or you're not overarching, okay? So really straight and strong. Now on your inhale, you're come up to stand, swing the kettlebell forward to shoulder height. Exhale, go ahead and squat. Inhale, swing the kettlebell forward, shoulder height. Exhale, come back to the squat. All right, so we're gonna do this 10 times. And that was 3, 4. All right, so as you're doing this, your spine is long. You're swinging the kettlebell to shoulder height. Again, if that's too much work on your shoulders, then you can go lower than shoulder height. Keeping the spine long, ribs in and down. Really ground down through your feet evenly. You can even squeeze your butt as you come up. All right, I think this is gonna be 10. And then release the weight. Take an inhale and exhale. All right, to walk your feet hip width distance. Bring the kettlebell to your heart center. Inhale, press the, weight. Press there. Inhale, press the weight overhead. Exhale, go ahead and hinge at your hips, come all the way down. Inhale, release the weight so you can come up halfway. And then exhale, step back to downward facing dog. Okay. You can stay here and hang out in downward facing dog, reconnecting with your breath. Maybe even feeling a little bit stronger, a little bit more grounded right through your upper body after doing that weight work. Right, if you choose to do so, on your next inhale, come forward into plank. As you exhale, you're coming all the way down or hovering in chaturanga. Inhale, come forward into upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, right leg high, please. Go ahead and swing it forward to your lunge. Grab the kettlebell just in your left hand this time. Right hand comes to your hip. Hinge up, high crescent pose. Back leg strong, ground down through the front foot. So the weight is just kind of in line with your shoulder. I don't know if you can see, you can kind of see where it's dangling here. Right? But your arm is just kind of straight. Ooh. And this hand can be on your hip, you can have it on your front thigh, wherever you feel stable. All right, so as we begin to come into this action, if you feel really unstable, you can go ahead and lower the back knee all the way down, okay? All right, so here we go. We'll do some swinging, just like we did when we were in yogi squat, okay? But just with one arm, okay? So inhale, swing forward, and then down. Forward, ooh, and then down. It's 10-pounder, maybe too much for me. And down, and then we're gonna do a total of 5. This is also my weaker arm. And then down. And then slowly lower the back knee down, down, down. If it is up, slowly, 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 slowly. Woo. Place the bell at the top of the mat, your weight at the top of the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. All right, let's move to the other side. So when you're ready, left leg high. And you can go ahead, bring it forward to a lunge. Grab your weight in your right hand. Left hand to hip. Hinge all the way up, spine long, come up. Okay, so back leg strong, really ground down through the sole of the front foot. Ribs in and down, right? So this weight is directly underneath your shoulder. Okay, so when you're ready, 5 swings on this side. And again, if it's too much, right, weight down level, right, or maybe only go half as high. Okay, 4, about on the last one. All right, weight is down by your side. Slowly on your next exhale, you're lowering the back knee down. Slow, 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 slow. All right, place the weight at the top of the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. Take 3 full inhales and exhales here.
Right? Really feel that grounding through the hands and the heaviness through your heels. Press your hands down and away. As you feel your sit bones rise, inner thighs back, heels heavy. Right, you can come down to your knees. Right, you did all the work. And we're gonna come to sit with your weight. Okay, so option, right, to have the legs wide, like Utta Vishta Konasana. You can have them kind of semi-wide, maybe a little bit wider, as wide as your mat. You can even have them hip width distance. Okay. I'm going to do somewhere in between. Right. Wherever you are, I just want to make sure when you're seated, right, that there's not this kind of collapsing in the low back and you're tucking your pelvis. Right. If that is happening, you're either going to walk your feet closer so you can get a little bit of height, right? Or you're going to slide a book or a blanket underneath your butt, your sit bones, right? Because you can get a little bit higher so you can lengthen your spine, right? So you have this long spine here, shoulders over your hips, no slumping back or leaning back, okay? Wide-ish. Okay. You may also want a block. I don't have a block because it's my tripod right now. Or something, right, kind of in between here, just for as we make our way down, you can have something for your head. So first, legs are straight and strong, right? So your kneecaps essentially pointing up, your toes pointing straight up. Grab your weight, and you're going to place it at your heart center. Again, let the tops of your shoulders be soft, right? So there is this load on the tops of your shoulders, so you're trying to hold this weight up, right? That weight, right, that burden, right, a so-called burden of the world, right, on your shoulders, right? But don't hold it up by shrugging your shoulders up. Let them be soft. Right? So you can begin to build strength up through your arms, right, and the muscles around your shoulder girdle. Okay, here we go. Take a deep inhale. Feel your shoulders over your hips. And as you exhale, just begin to hinge at the hips, keeping the spine long. Come about like a third of the way down, a third of your way down, right? So that may mean an inch of movement, 3 inches of movement, just depends. Yeah. Take another inhale here. Spine long, ribs in and down. Exhale, hinge another few inches. Right. Notice if you're beginning to kind of collapse in the low back, ribs in and down. Crown of the head reaches away from the tailbone and vice versa. Legs still strong. Right. Take one more inhale. Come down to your furthest point. As you come down, you can release the weight down and settle. If you want to soften in the legs, you can, right? So maybe your legs just become soft here. So it can be more, hi tunes, more of passive shape. We're going to stay here for about 5 breaths. Right, again, notice if you're holding anything still in the shoulders, right, after doing all of that work, and maybe it's new work for your body, see if you can find this softness around your shoulders, your chest, your arms, just kind of, again, this passivity, this almost extreme passivity after all of that work with the weights, right? Just draping in between your legs. Bless you, Luna. One more inhale and exhale. Right, just come up about halfway and re-engage legs and feet. Okay? And you're just going to walk your hands over to the right. I'm not mirroring you. Just for a gentle twist, you can walk over to right as far as you want if you want to grab a foot or ankle and let your legs be strong here. But your upper body can just kind of relax. Take 2 more inhales and exhales. Shoulder soft. And slowly walking your hands back through center, then over to the left. Again, as far as it feels good. You can even frame your leg with your arms. Legs strong. You can really relax the upper body. Again, now officially taking the load off of your upper body. Right, shoulders soft, head heavy. Take one more inhale and exhale. Walk your hands back through center. And then walk yourself all the way back up. You can roll or spine straight, whatever feels right to you. Okay. One more move. All right, so you're going to grab your weights. So actually place your hands behind your thighs wherever you are. And just kind of help to bend your knees as you lean back. Ooh, bring your feet together. And you want to be in line with the long edge of your mat. So I'm just going to turn around here. Okay, so your knees are bent. There goes my earring. Okay, knees are bent. Again, you're gonna take the weight at your heart center. And again, find this long spine. So no rounding. If you're rounding, move your feet away. Actually, everyone move their feet away from their butt, right? So you have a longer stance here. So you can really ground down through your sit bones and then lengthen out of your pelvis. Okay, so your weight's at heart center. Right. And then you're slowly going to lean all the way back. So your spine can stay as straight as possible, but to help with this action, at least for my body, I really need to begin to tuck my pelvis here to help lower all the way down. So you're articulating through the spine. As you have that extra load, that 10 pounds is probably too much for me. And then place the weight to the side, kind of out of the way. Go ahead and straighten your legs long. And then I want to encourage you, instead of having arms long by the side, palms face up, if you have room, to do cactus arms. Right, so we did a lot of that loading in the front of the body and engaging the front muscles, your pecs. So just kind of allowing this natural opening of that space. And just staying here for a few rounds of breath, letting your breath, right, unload. Right, so your body unload, your mind unload. Right, so there's no weight, there's no burden, there's no worry. Just for these next few rounds of breath. Right, after your next exhale, you can go ahead and maybe stretch your arms overhead, maybe point your toes, make full body stretch. And then bend your knees into your chest, roll onto a side, and then help yourself up to a seat. Or again, you can stay down in that Shavasana shape if that's kind of what you needed. So hopefully you feel a little stronger, a little bit more supported, right, through your upper extremities, shoulder girdle, upper back, upper chest, right? So as we kind of work through these changes, these burdens, these worries, right, with the pandemic, right, we're able to carry that, right, with confidence, with that newfound strength. I am going to be offering some more of similar type yoga with weights
a little bit different. This was just really basic sun salutations with weights. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much. Say bye, Loons. You want to say bye? Okay. Bye.